My name's Tim Robertson, and I'm the CEO from Save Water, Save Money. We're a company that promotes water saving on behalf of the UK's water utilities to home owners and to businesses. I've got 15 minutes to tell you 13 years worth of business. And I'm going to talk to you about how we're looking to gamify water saving. But really, to start off, I need to tell you why we save water, and then what's motivated us to turn towards gamification, and then what the story is so far. So I'll go to the next slide. So why do we save water? I think many of you from all over the world, but I know that a third of you probably press the wrong button on the toilet. And I know this because for the last 5 years, we've been collecting data from about 500,000 households, predominantly in the UK, from people who've completed our online survey. And these people are giving us a lot of data about how they use water at home. So, for example, here's some examples of some of the data that we've captured. So from about 100,000 data sets, we know that 9% of people have a leaking toilet. We know that I think it's 33% of people wash their clothes at 40 degrees. And there's about 2/3, so 60% of people are washing their cars, and we know how often they wash their cars a month and what they use to wash their car. So it's pretty interesting. The key takeout is that we know that people are using more water than they actually need, and I need to explain why this matters. So the water utilities have to balance supply with demand. And there's various pressures. So the key two are the combination of population growth. So there's more people wanting the same amount of water, but actually there's less water because of climate change. We're seeing longer dry summers, heavier bursts of rainfall, and a much more volatile water cycle. So the easiest way to manage this balance is to get people to save water. There's other factors, but the key one is to get people to actually save water. But this is a lot easier than done. So what are the barriers to actually getting people to do things? So we know, firstly, water pretty much around the world, from what I understand, but definitely in the UK, is pretty cheap. People will pay a little bit more for hot water because we can combine their energy bill, but it's a cheap resource. It's very readily available. So you turn on your tap and there's water. You step into the shower, there's water. And finally, people do not engage traditionally with their water utilities. Water companies around the world operate in their own monopolies governed by a specific area, so you can't choose your water company. And I think because of all of these three reasons, that we found it quite challenging to actually get people to change the habits. So if I go back to the data that we have, and if you're typical of the UK population, half of you probably keep the tap running when you turn off, when you're brushing your teeth. If this is new to you, this statement, then some of you will maybe go away this evening, and when you brush your teeth, you'll turn off the tap. But we don't know for how long. You might do that for a day, you might do it for a week, possibly for a year, but then you may go back to your old ways. So this is why we've started to look at bringing in gamification into water saving. Essentially, we've been very good over the last 4 or 5 years of analysing people's water use and then providing them with advice, so telling them do this, do that, but we've no idea whether they take up that advice and move to some form of action. And we've realised that using gamification techniques will help us measurably reduce people's water use over time. So it's more of a coaching element. In July 2020, we launched Get Water Fit, and Get Water Fit is a tool. It's another version of our online survey, but it specifically brings in gamification elements. I'm not an expert, I have to say, on gamification. I'm sure most of the audience actually is, but we've taken steps to introduce gamification, and we've got a long way to go, but it's a start. I'm going to stick with the PowerPoint just because flipping between a live site is probably going to muck things up. So I'll just take you through some slides. Our starting point is a home page, and we ask customers to put in their postcodes. The customers are driven by both water companies and both through our own traffic that we generate off various other sites that we manage. Of the people who input their postcode, about 80% plus will actually finish our 5-minute questionnaire. So the questionnaire is split into a pre-qual and then quality questions. The pre-qual allows us to understand what fixtures people have in their homes. So, for example, if you don't have a garden, we won't ask you how often you water the flowers. So it's so people can tailor the questions to their own situation. 70% of people complete this on a mobile, so we have one question per screen, and it's easy to flick right to left. And then when we get into the main information, it's all very icon-led, very little copy, and we have lots of hints around, for example, leaking taps, we have drips showing, and so on. So it's all very easy to show, hence the low dropout rate to the end. And very quickly, the last thing is that just before people register and then move to their personalized portals, we do ask them to opt in to receive coaching information. We've got as high as about 75%. So we know that our audience is very engaged, and we can start to see that in some of the stats. Users are taken to, they have a personal dashboard. I'm going to be very quick here. I could talk for many hours, but I've only got 6.5 minutes left. So they're presented with a bit of information around their current usage. So we aggregate all of the answers and divide it by the number of occupants, and we display it up here in terms of how many litres per person per day they use, the amount of carbon is emitted through cold and hot water use, and then coins, which I'm sure most of you are very familiar with. On the consumption side, we explain to people where exactly in the home they use their water. So we have an overall picture here, so bathroom, kitchen, outdoors. We've got breakdown by appliance, so shower, and it shows what your current use is, and then with a saving. So you can see I put in some pretty high figures just to illustrate the differences between what somebody's using, what they should use. And you can toggle between litres and cost and kilowatts and cost. And then we break down further. Again, it's similar to this slide, but in a pie chart for people to understand. In terms of the gamification, we've started bringing in a series of challenges. At the moment, these are time limited, and we're currently looking at how to encourage more people to take them up by either reducing the time frame or removing it completely. When a user completes a challenge, they're then invited to either leave a tip so that we self-generate content, or tell others so that they can share their successes and try and encourage friends and family to come in and have a go as well. Each challenge indicates water saving and a coin saving. We do actually have some non-water saving challenges that earn coins, and these are more to allow us to bring in some of the water company objectives into getting the customer to do it. So, for example, to sign up to online billing, move to direct debit, possibly to request a meter in the UK. And then users can spend these, so they can spend the coins and allocate the water. I'll show you this. So for Affinity Water, one of our current clients, all of the water that a user saves, they can choose a local school in their area, support it, and then that school receives the saved water as an allocation. The schools that achieve 50,000 litres or more then receive a cash donation from Affinity Water in order to spend on books and equipment. So the idea is that we create some sort of grassroots driver to get as many people as possible in to get water, but also active. And then with the coins, this is another water company we're working with. We have 6 national charities, and every time that a user earns their coins, they can then donate it to the charity. And you can see here there's a leaderboard, and we divide, there's a prize of £1,000 divided in proportion to the coins that are earned. I'm just finishing off now, and that's a real tour of Get Waterfit and the tool. You'll see here that I put a URL about getwaterfit.com. It is actually a site that's specifically built for water utilities to find out a bit more, but do go along. You can see some of the bells and whistles that we have with our product, and you can also take a tour here. It's got a little test postcode, so you can, from wherever you are in the world, you can go in and have a look. I'm going to stop sharing and see if anyone's got any questions.
Super, thanks, Tim. So we've got a couple of questions here on the Q&A. So I'll just answer. So how many people, employees and volunteer professionals are involved in this Gamify? So I assume that's a kind of a behind the scenes. How much work? What sort of team have you got?
Yeah, we've got a dev team currently of 6. So tech lead, 2 back ends, 1 front end, 1 tester, 1 project manager. And then we've got a commercial side as well. We do other things, so they deal with the clients. It's a small team. We've grown organically. We've not had any investment. And I know some of you will probably say, well, that could be tightened up or that couldn't be. But we've had the pressures of having to generate income on the back of it in order to feed in for further development. But we are underway. I expect that by February next year, we'll have sort of the next round of development, plus we'll have some stats that we'll be able to share, and I'll be happy to come back and talk about it again.
Great. And so the ROI, what's the sort of how do you justify the ROI of this to your customers in terms of saving? Is it expensive for a water saving campaign, or is this relatively cheap for them?
Well, it's a good question. So what this allows, and this is where it disrupts the industry, is that we can now offer a single mass engagement tool at a fixed price that anybody in the water company area can access and do their bit to reduce water consumption. Previously, it's only been water companies had to target specific areas or just try and nudge people to come in through maybe emails or something, but there's nothing around sort of a grassroots community up approach. The ROI for the user is that the more water, and in particular hot water, they save, the more money they can save off their bills. So it's like probably 5 or 10 minutes of effort could save them, 20 or 30 quid.
Great. I'll just take this one other question here. On the dashboard, have you got any feedback from your users on which of the gamified elements they're more interested in?
Yeah, so it's early days. We probably had about 10 or 15,000 people through this. The banner on the dashboard that generates the most traffic, I suppose, for what we want people to do. So at the moment, we offer free products out to customers, and we know that that's uplifting, 75% of users come in and then they order their product. We did take it away for a while, and the number of people ordering product dropped to 30%. So the idea is we've got a linear journey at the moment. Order your products. then book a video chat with a Get Water Fit coach to get you on your way, and then start your challenges. And we're just starting to see numbers that allow us to, that give us a benchmark to then start to improve. So again, probably 3 months' time, we'll have some decent figures to share.
Fantastic. Well, as one of our people say, it's a fantastic use of gamification, and we should definitely water save and reuse water. So thank you very much, Tim, for sharing that with us. So very much, Steve. Very much.